Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Heustienne and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hello, Jen.
Hello, Jen.
Today we are talking about the Heavensward Dragoon quest.
Sure are. Just no.
How are you, Jen?
Thank
What's
you.
What's new in your life?
Not much. What's up with you?
Oh my goodness. What's up, Jen, is we're talking about the Dragoon quest.
I swear to God.
So we got to get ourselves skilled up here before we go and face down Nidhogg in his lair.
Sure.
Speaking of abilities, Jen, the level 50 to 60 path provides us with some core abilities for the job. And some weird ones.
Mo buttons.
Mo buttons indeed.
I was like, do these not automatically turn into the other button? No, they don't. I need to put them somewhere.
Are you thinking about Viper, Jen?
Well, I guess. I thought that was like the new hotness. I was hoping that...
It is for Viper, and I kind of hate it and kind of love it. It's a mixed blessing.
I understand. You're like, I don't need you to be... I don't need to be spoon-fed the next thing I have to do. But at the same time, I only have so many buttons.
Yeah. Yes and yes. Nailed it. 100%.
All right.
But no, Dragoon is an old job, and we have every button individually. So we have extended our wishbone-shaped combo path. Both sides get an extension. So we get a second rear attack that follows our dot, and we finally get our flank positional.
Great. Good.
Now we flank, Jen.
Now we move for some reason.
For some reason. That feels good. It's nice to have the full weapon skill set. Finally, I don't personally love the positional mechanic in general, but if we're going to do it, may as well have it proper-like.
Sure. Just learn to stand behind the thing.
Or to the flank of the thing.
Yeah, close enough.
Incorrect.
Well, the front is like the front half.
Yes.
The flank is like the latter, like 30 degrees on this side and 30 degrees on that side.
It's 45 degrees, but go on.
So, yeah, just be behind. Close enough. It's not the
I am judging you so hard right now.
No, I'm not saying that standing behind and hitting something will get you the flank bonus, because it won't, because it's different. If you stand in the front, you've got way more ground to cover before you get to the flank, whereas if you stand at the rear, you have less ground to cover to get to the flank.
Yes.
Thank you.
And if you stand at the flank, you have none ground to cover. Sorry, I'm being pedantic for no reason now. Anyway.
Right, but...
So those are the good abilities, I think, that we get. We also get some weird ones, which is like a lot more damage buffs for some reason. Up to level 50, we had the 1 minute cooldown personal damage buff. And we had the weapon skill combo damage buff, which we must upkeep to optimize our DPS. And now we get a 2 minute party-wide damage buff. And we get another 1 minute damage buff that's also an attack. So we have 4 damage buffs now.
Do they stack?
Yes.
Okay.
But still...
I know the 2 did, but the one we get at level 60, I'm like, does that stack? Because I don't understand how that makes any sense.
Yeah, but the last one, the level 61, also has a HUD element that lights up. The other ones don't, but this one gets a special HUD element.
Great.
This will matter more in the future, but at level 60, it's like, okay, so I have 3 damage buffs with no HUD element, and I have 1 damage buff with a HUD element. It's very busy now in like the buff department, which I am not a fan of.
Yeah, bro.
This is kind of when, for me, Dragoon loses my interest, because it just gets to be just so extra button heavy that does not really feel part of the core attack loop.
I could deal with the addition of the 4th step on both wishbone.
Yeah.
I could deal with that. But having to push those 3 fucking buffs all at once every 2 minutes.
Every 1 minute for 2. Every 2 minutes for 1.
See, yeah, that's the thing.
Every 30 seconds for 1.
I mean, I have like a system where buttons that do this go here and buttons that do this go here. And if I have 3 buff buttons, I don't have a system for that.
Same.
So I am scrambling.
Does not feel good to me, but it is what it is for now.
Tis what it is.
So that is the mechanical wrap up. Now, Jen, what happened previously in our Dragoon adventures?
Well, we met Heustienne, and he was like, I don't know about you. And he was very mysterious. And he was like, oh my god, the eye speaks to you. But the eye also speaks to me. So that we're both Azure Dragoons. What? And then he found out that his mentor, Sir Alberic, lost his mind while being the Azure Dragoon, and that's why his village got.
Yes.
And so we found that out and then vowed to fight his former mentor, and his former mentor was like, stop it, the eye is making you hate, blah, you know, turn away from the dark side, etc. And Heustienne doesn't really do that. We have to transmogrify into like the OG Dragoon and be like, we're in charge now. And then Heustienne is like, zoop, and he goes away. And there we are.
And he comes back for the Heavensward MSQ.
Of course, yes.
And pretends like we did not have a weird parting.
Yeah, I'm like, hey man, do you want to address that at all? Or are we just going to go on this camping trip?
Camping trip.
Got it.
Man feelings.
So now we're doing stuff not at all related to Heustienne.
Yes and no. I think this is actually a good continuation of the storyline with the fact in mind that we cannot take Heustienne because he is part of the MSQ. If we accept...
that's fine. It's not like, oh my god, why aren't we continuing with the Heustienne? I'm not like, give us more Heustienne. That totally makes sense.
I think that this is overall a good continuation of the Dragoon concept.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Okay, good.
Right.
Well, we are going to go back to our former mentor, Alberic, who hangs out in the Observatorium, which is that camp with no aetheryte in the southern part of the Curthis Central Highlands.
I want to talk about being angry where there's no aetheryte. How about the whole of Curthis Western Highlands?
Yes.
Anyway.
How about that?
How about that?
We return to him, and he is pleased that we are keeping our inner dragon in check.
Mm-hmm.
It takes but a moment of weakness for the eye to make you its thrall. But anyway, we need your help. Because some days ago, a horde of dragons began wreaking bloody havoc within Ishgardian territory. An elite regiment of dragoons was dispatched to deal with this threat. Though they fight bravely, they are sorely outnumbered and are struggling to gain the upper hand. Indeed, but moments before you arrived, we received a request for reinforcements from a unit engaged in battle north and west of Whitebrim.
So when we get there, indeed, the Dragoons have been beaten back with a large dragon bearing down as we approach. So we slay the dragon, and we save the nearby wounded Dragoon's life. And he thanks us, and as he does so, Sir Alberic and a mystery woman...
Mystery Dragoon is her actual name.
Mystery Dragoon, yes. Mystery Dragoon in bronze Dragoon armor approach. They witness the tail end of our encounter and
Jen,
marveled what?
Would you describe the mystery woman?
She is an Elysian woman with blonde hair and purple eyes. Like I said, her armor is bronze instead of black or steel or similar.
And the main feature? The extremely exposed midriff?
Oh... the tummy window.
The torso window more.
She sports it well, though we're in the middle of a blizzard, at least when I was doing this. And I thought, that must be chilly.
Yeah, this armor is kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous. It's not like it adds mobility. It's just an excuse to blast your abs.
Yeah.
If you have them.
Blasting abs all over the place.
Yeah, like Otis will blast her ab.
Her mono ab.
The
mono lala ab.
The mono lala ab. And it's very cute. But there's no way to make this look normal. It is a bizarre wardrobe choice. Anywho. So they witnessed Alberic and Mystery Woman, the tail end of our encounter, and they marveled on our fighting style. It's both foreign yet familiar. Clearly, our adventurer lifestyle has exposed us to a wider variety of techniques, which puts us a level above the other Dragoons. Agreed. So the woman realizes that we don't recognize her.
Yeah, she says, "'Tis an honor to see you again, my friend."
And then we give her like a blank face back, like, ooh.
We are in the right here because we met her briefly as one of the speed bump fights in the Dragoon quest.
That literally took 8 seconds.
Yes.
And she was in a different outfit entirely. For someone who is second in command in the Order of the Dragoons, for her to be like, yeah, let me help this whelp in a canyon
and
with her
get
training.
Beat by like a level 35 Dragoon.
Right. Maybe in the interim time she's been promoted. I don't know.
But also, we are not friends. I'm sorry, but you were a speed bump legit, and then we left you behind.
So sorry. So she reintroduces herself. This
Good.
is Heustienne, one of the Order of Dragoons that assisted in our training, like we just said, and she's second of command in the Order. But she goes on to say that she recognizes her own skills pale in comparison to ours. That's okay. She asks us to take her on as a student, but we don't have to decide right now. You can think about it, let me know. And literally by the time we go from
before then, Jen.
Okay.
Before that, Alberic muses about our abilities and so on. He believes that because we have fought so many enemies besides dragons, we have adapted the Dragoon techniques beyond just fighting dragons. So through exposing ourselves to new experiences, we have grown.
Yeah, she's only familiar with Dragooning. She doesn't know anything about black mages.
With Dragooning. I took this to mean we fought guys that are not dragons, not that we played other jobs.
I thought of it all. I'm like, we've done all sorts of jobs. We've been all sorts of places. We've fought all sorts of foes.
They're both true, ultimately, yes. We head back to the observatorium, and Alberic's like, okay, you can think it over if you want to. No pressure. And we're like, yeah, we'll do it.
Well, when we go from the battle, whatever, in White Brim, you know what? Take me on as a student, but just, think about it. In the transit time it took to get from there to the observatorium in that same day, they were like, so, what did you decide? Like, well, I guess I'll do it. And,
we chose to seek him out. We could have taken all the time we wanted to.
Oh my god.
I think that we're just being decisive.
Okay. Well, Sir Alberic affirms
also,
that,
Jen, also in game world time, the trek from the Camp Dragonhead Aetheryte to the observatorium, that's quite a trek.
Well, let's say we go by Chocobo, and let's say, for sake of argument, we don't have flight. So yeah, that would take maybe 3-4 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. It's enough thinking time. I mean, I was assuming like days, but whatever. So Sir Alberic is like, you know what? Teaching offers learning as well. So
deep.
You should teach. And to instruct someone of Heustienne's caliber, we too must rise to new heights of mastery. Oh, God.
And after we accept, he then gives us the fine print. It's right, okay, you're on board, so here's some things you should know. First off, he projects onto us.
Oh,
though
this was annoying.
Agreed to accept her, I suspect you're not without reservation. You worry whether you'll be equal to the task.
Oh, hey, man. Don't be putting those thoughts in my head. Maybe I walked up here full of confidence.
Well, he has confidence in us that we'll be a fine mentor.
Then why say that?
But Heustienne is a master of her art. It is all she has ever known. As such, it may prove a challenge for her to adapt. And, like all of us, she is not without pride, and there will be times when tact is required. I also must mention that Heustienne is zealous to a fault. But Jen, none of this will matter because this questline glosses right over the actual mentorship plot line, and it's hurried to get on with the action.
Yeah, we're a teacher for, an hour.
Yes, and it's the main failing I would say this questline has is that it neglects the actual chance to bond with Heustienne and establish the stakes before it upends the situation.
I think it would have been better to establish a relationship in a different way. I agree, because it's very stilted. So, yeah, the connection we could have had with Heustienne, we'll never know.
Yep.
So, okay. Anyway, so Heustienne, she's been practicing out in the Western Highlands, and we're going to go out there and meet her for our first lesson. And when we locate Heustienne at an area called the Pike, she's already overwhelmed herself. She's surrounded by dead dragons, but she's also got a bunch of dragons hovering above her. So, she's surrounded by a handful of dead dragons, and there are more ready in the wings. So we take care of the remaining dragons, and we help Heustienne to her feet. And she's a little embarrassed that our lessons haven't even begun, and we've already seen her on her knees.
Not a euphemism.
Correct. In the fight, she explains, she attempted to mimic our lance skills without success, resulting in the overwhelm. And if she had relied on her tried and true methods, no problem.
This is why we practice in controlled environments.
Correct. So she's, again, remember the overzealous bit? Yeah, so that was her doing that. So, the whole point of this is for her to learn new techniques and try them out and grow and challenge herself and blah, blah, blah. But there's to a point, girlfriend. We decide to move to another area so that I can fight something, and then she can observe me doing something with, like, a live foe. It's like, okay, that seems like a much better idea instead of you barging ahead. So this area proves more than fruitful because we are presented soon with a horde skirmisher captain, this big-ass dragon. So after the fight is over, Heustienne, she's a little confused. Our techniques don't actually differ from hers. And so why was our victory so effortless?
This is so funny because we take this and we just flex on her. We're like, you know what? I taught myself a new move while you were sucking over there.
Yeah, well, you were asking me, like, why are you so good at stuff? I came up with a new thing to make you better at stuff.
The new thing is the battle litany.
And that's the increased critical hit rate for everybody?
Yeah.
So look at us. Hell yeah. All you have to do is ask me a question and I can be like, boom, brainwave. So this technique considers, unlike the other techniques, our fellow Dragoons, and how we might extract more strength from them as well as ourselves. And this is a bit of an epiphany for Heustienne, who admits that she is so solely focused on landing her next blow that she renders herself blind to opportunity. And at this point, we notice the late hour, and she asks us to accompany her back to the congregation in Ishgard. This is the congregation of our knights most heavenly. So we head back to Ishgard, and we go over to the place. We say hello to Firm Albert.
And surprise, her dad's dropped in.
Oh, what's up? What's up, Daddy-o? Yeah, so we were going to take a tour of the facilities, and Heustienne is like, oh, first, however, I want you to meet my dad, Montorgan. He's an elder Elezen sporting an eye patch, and he bows deeply. He's very proud of Heustienne, but he worries about her being away from home so much. Like, she never comes home, so if he wants to know how she's doing, he's got to find her. And she's like, Father, please, we've spoken about this. I but strive to be a dragoon worthy of the name, as you yourself were. All that I do to honor you. And the best way to honor him, he says, is by taking care of herself. But now that he's confirmed that she's hale and healthy, he's like, I'm good. I take my leave. Have a nice day. Good to meet you. Farewell. And then, so Heustienne then explains that Montorgan is not her father by blood. Like so many others, she was orphaned by the war, and he and his wife took her in. And he was a dragoon of some renown in his day, and she vowed to follow in his footsteps. Any case, Sir Alberic wanted to speak with us, so pray return to the observatorium. But if you wanted to check out the congregation facilities before you go, feel free.
We've been. Don't worry.
Well, I've never been upstairs, actually. So I walked in, and I run around, and I'm like, it's pretty dismal in here for the vaunted order of Dragoon and just the knights in general. It's very dimly lit, not a lot of creature comforts. It's very austere. So you go upstairs and, there's some bunks. There aren't even mattresses, dude. It's just planks of wood and like a blanket folded at the bottom of the thing. You're just there's literally like a dude fully in his chainmail lounging on a plank of wood.
It's so you can toughen up for the field.
Right? I mean, I guess priorities, I don't know. I give him a mattress, maybe. Some privacy screens, I don't know, whatever. Anyway.
Do you think that you get mattresses out in the wilds, Jin, in the frozen wastes? Do you think you get privacy screens, Jin, when you're facing down a dragon?
I will make one out of snow.
Well.
And dragon feet or something.
And dragon feet. We go back to the observatorium, and Albrecht gives us even more Heustienne backstory. So he explains that, first off, he recaps that, yes, her father was a dragoon of some renown. He served until he took a grievous wound and was forced to hang up his lance. Perhaps his eye was said wound.
Yeah, he took an arrow to the eye.
Took a claw to the eye, more like. But Heustienne trained relentlessly. In all ways, she was Heustienne's equal, and the rivalry that they shared raised them both higher. Alas, the eye chose Heustienne and not her. And since then, she has taken to training with a fervor that borders on self-punishment. It is well to strive for greater heights, but a dragoon must never lose sight of his conviction. It is the only thing that shields us from a dragon's wiles.
Dragon be all like, "What's up, lover boy?" Wink, wink.
Yeah. So we take a break and we come back later on, just in time for a crisis.
Urgent news!
Because Heustienne's dragon nemesis, this is the one that she has kind of sized up as being her main target, by name of Growly. Growly?
I'm just going to say Growly.
Okay. It's spelled, for the record, Graullly.
Nope, Graoullly.
Sorry, yes.
So who knows what to do with all of them vowels?
Growly.
Growly it is.
Okay, great.
Growly the dragon.
Anyway, Growly is advancing upon
Ishgard.
His horde is on Ishgard. This is like a high-ranking dragon who has his own personal horde.
Yeah, he has sent his minions.
Yep. Heustienne is on her way, and they need every lance they can get, so we head on over to aid in the effort. We check in at the congregation once more to rally with the Dragoons, and Heustienne's dad is there to see her off. And he thanks us personally for keeping his daughter safe. No pressure. And he makes her promise to come back safe. Okay. You keep her safe. You come back safe.
Yes, he's being a dad.
And she says, "Okay, Dad." And he has a gift for her.
Well, but he has a really good. This is like when you're doing savage raiding, and it's like, don't greed. You can't do any DPS when you're dead. He essentially tells her the same thing. If you're dead, you can't serve your nation. So
you can't do DPS for Ishgard if you're dead.
Correct. Good tips, Father. Anyway, yeah. So now it's a present time.
Their manservant presents her with a white lance, and she is shocked and awed. Why, this lance was bestowed upon your forebear by the Archbishop himself. I am no true child of yours, yet you would entrust me with the family treasure? I will not betray your faith in me, Father. With this lance I shall strike down Growly and protect Ishgard.
I shall strike down Growly, Barney's bestie. It's an unfortunate pronunciation. Probably our fault. Anyway, the lance has a name. The lance is called Peregrine. And it's a very traditional looking lance. Again, this is very old. It has the standard wooden shaft, and the standard tip that we see on all the lances that some of the knights use. Not the Dragoons. The Dragoons have lances that are spiky and
winged
RPG-y,
RPG-y, yeah.
Where this one is very, very pared down. It's very traditional, very tasteful. So wooden shaft, the white tip, and just a little bit of gilding. But honestly, visually, it's a downgrade. But it's an heirloom. It's very, very special.
It has emotional significance.
100%. Yeah, not taking that away. I'm just trying to describe.
All right, we head for the Pike, which is just north of Camp Falconhead in the Western Highlands. And
Falcon's
we find...
Nest.
Excuse me. Dragonhead,
wow.
Falcon's Nest.
Are you new here?
Yes. And we find Heustienne, who is surrounded by a pile of downed dragoons and downed dragons. She is the only one standing.
Well, Brucemont...
He's kneeling.
So he's injured.
Yes.
But he hasn't fallen.
I said
Brucemont,
downed.
Yeah, the other guys are dead. Just straight up. He's not yet dead. But Brucemont is one of the other dudes that was training us in the...
Yeah.
In the olden times.
Olden times.
Yeah. Anyway, just name dropping.
We find Heustienne there, and we see the glimmer of an instant's battle on her. We give her a hello, and she welcomes us to face down the next wave of dragons. And we get a pretty basic instance fight here. We just fight little dragons, then some more less little dragons, then a big dragon and some little dragons, and she's with us the whole time. Finally, once we defeat them all, Heustienne is disappointed. She grouses. That was the last of them, yet Growly is nowhere to be seen. Were the reports mistaken? Such a price we have paid, only for our quarry to elude us. But there is a screen-shaking roar. A great blue ice dragon soars up over the cliff edge, and Heustienne is on top of it, literally. For she launches herself from the ground into the air, impaling her spear into its back, and it rides off into the sunset with her atop it.
And Brucemont and us are like, what the hell?
Well, Brucemont declares her dead.
Despondent. He's like, no!
He's like, well, she's gone.
And immediately, right after that, and my assumption was there's some like missing reasons here. We're supposed to assume that there was some sort of scuffle or fight or whatever, and the assumption is that she died because Brucemont finds a chunk of her armor. And he's like, all I found of her was this chunk of armor. Will you give it to her father? And I'm like, I just saw her ride off on a dragon that was flying very carefully.
Yep, very carefully.
The dragon was like
designated dragon,
casually flying away.
Right. I mean, not knocking the job quest, not getting custom animations. He presumes that the dragon took her into certain doom.
Sure. And all that's left of her was this chunk of armor.
Yes.
He asks us to give it to her father.
This is kind of fucked up, but we do.
Like, why do we have to do this? We barely met the man. If anybody here should be doing it, it's you, Brucemont.
Yes, but no.
So when we head back to the congregation and we hand the piece of armor to Montorgan.
I found this very funny in a meta sense, Jen, because we give him the armor and he goes right to denial. He goes to the first stage of grief, and then that's where he stops.
And that's it. We're gonna everything we do from now on is based on that.
He says, "If there's no body, she's not dead." Which way to be genre savvy, Dad?
Yep.
A+.
Yep. He's like, you know what?
Right with you.
Whoa, he's onto something there. Bruce Mom, what the fuck? Yeah. So right away he's like, no, but wait. Nobody saw her die. Nobody saw her fall off. Nobody found a body. She's still alive somewhere.
Yep.
Boom. So Sir Albrecht, he's like, well, we're going to start searching immediately. But at this point, she's likely deep into enemy territory, which means the Dravanian Forelands. So when we meet up with Sir Albrecht again in, I don't know, a day or two, the search for Heustienne continues without success. They do have a lead. So in a skirmish with a band of heretics in the Western Highlands, it was noted that one of the heretics had a lance that looked very much like Peregrine. And if we can find this group, perhaps we can follow that trail to wherever Heustienne is.
Yeah, we find the group that sighted them first off. So we head over to the Western Highlands and say, where's she at? And then they point us to a very distant place. This is actually like in the far southern corner of the zone.
I don't think I've ever been here.
Same. Well, I've been there during my prior Dragoon job quest some years ago, but beyond that, no.
Yeah.
This is like a custom little ice cave just for this quest.
It's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
It's a whole like little, I'm sure there's a geographical term for this, or geological term rather. There's like a pathway through like a very tight like formation of stone, rock, whatever. And then it opens up, and then all along the sides of this round cavern thing, this giant icy cavern, there's other little caves in here. And then you can go into those caves, and some of them open up to the space above, and then there's even more landscape up there. I'm like, how far does this place go?
I don't know if you can get here without flight.
You can't go up, I don't think. You can get to some of the lower caves and lower cave.
Can you get to Heustienne though without flight is the operative question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did not try. I had flight. I mean, we're level 56 at this point, I think. So we have cleared Western Highlands in the MSQ almost guaranteed.
Probably, yeah. So it's like we just gave you flight. Let's give you something useful to do with it.
Yes, please.
So we head out before, we gotta, okay. They sent out some of the knights, the temple knights, to do this searching. And we are supposed to make contact with these knights out in Camp Riversmeet to figure out, where they've spied these people. And the knight that we find to give us this information is standing in front of a rock, staring at the rock. That's all. He's literally, I'm like, excuse me, sir, I have to tap him on the back. So he turns around away from just dead ass looking into a boulder. He's like, yeah, they went that way. And then he turns away from me back to staring at the rock when we're done with the conversation. Anyway, the heretic that has Peregrine, along with their group, headed into the bed of bones, and the knights followed, or some knights followed. So when we head in that way, we see a trail of fallen knights leading to a small icy cave with Heustienne bound inside. And then immediately we're set upon by a dragon and a heretic mage. So when we defeat these dudes and Heustienne is freed, she tells us the one who has her lance is the leader of this group. They plan to join another group and launch an attack against the Holy See. And so she asks that we return to the congregation, let them know immediately about this imminent attack. But if anyone asks where I got this information, tell them that I tortured a heretic for it.
That we tortured a heretic.
Yes, yeah. The
Warriors of Light.
The Azure Dragoon tortured it out of a heretic, and that Heustienne has fallen in battle. She's like, tell everybody that I died.
Especially her father.
And, okay. So when she says this, Jen, I thought, she's got some super awesome plot up her sleeve to lure somebody out because they think she's dead, and then she's going to be like, haha, I'm alive, or something like that.
Jen, I was savvy to the twist because after she says that, she clutches her chest for a moment, pained.
Oh, right.
And is like, it's nothing. I took a glancing blow to the chest.
So when I saw that, I thought she took a blow to the chest. But it's actually pretty serious, and if she doesn't get it treated soon, then she's gonna die.
Yes.
But
no.
So all of those things made complete sense to me.
Good. I mean, I'm glad that you were fooled and that it's not so obvious.
Yes.
But I mean, I guess given what we have just learned in the MSQ, I was fairly primed for this concept.
Right. Yeah, that info dump happened kind of immediately before this, so that it's fresh in our minds.
But before we talk around it further,
so
now we go back to Ishgard and report our findings. So we drop in briefly at the Knights congregation again. We say, hey, she's dead, but there are heretics on the move. Then we go find Alberic and her dad, Montergains, in the observatorium. Upon telling Dad of Heustienne's fate, he does not believe it. He stops and starts at the denial stage of grief once again. This whole ruse falls apart when he confronts us. He at first says, you're lying, you must be concealing something, when we tell him that his daughter is dead for real this time. We are on the record as being a terrible liar, though we get the option to either confess or to try to conceal the secret.
Right. Okay. So you texted me last night, and because you were doing this before I did it, and you're like, okay, so when you get to the choice, say to tell the truth. And then you were like, never mind. It doesn't matter.
I thought there might be a different way this scene articulates, but I tried lying to him and he called me on my shit immediately. Yeah. We are so bad at lying.
Yeah. It was like he couldn't. Again, he's very good at the denial. So, of course, he's going to be like, no, there's no way. My daughter, she's an amazing Dragoon. She is. There's no way she fell to a bunch of bullshit heretics.
But
tell me the truth. And
the thing is, though, beyond that, the option is to remain silent or to tell the truth.
Yeah.
So our character
remain silent.
Is so just honest and has such a terrible poker face that we can't even think of a lie. We're just like,
the problem for me was at this time, I thought that she was cooking up some great plot, and the fact that everybody thinks that she's dead is a key part of that plot. So I was like, I can't reveal that she's actually alive because that will ruin her whole plan. So I'm like, no, I'm going to stay quiet. But yeah, exactly. As soon as I was like, remain silent, Dad's like, bullshit. And we're like, okay. So it was a secret for 30 seconds.
We're the one who you should never tell the plot to ever, because we will spill the beans. Just give us our role and let us go, and do not tell us the secret.
Honorable.
But thankfully, though, she did not tell us her issue, so we cannot spill the beans fully. We can tell Dad, hey, your daughter's alive, and says she'd not go after her, but we can't tell him why.
Right. Yeah, she's decided to be on the lam by choice. And we're like, why? We don't know.
Dad believes in her good heart and will not accept that she may be doing anything ill. So he's like, whatever she's doing is great. We have to find her and help her.
Right. Well, she's probably because of the way that she is. Again, she feels this. She has this need to, like her dad said before. We didn't mention this earlier, but her dad pulled us aside at one point, and he was like, because she's like adopted, she feels like she has this debt to me and my wife, and she'll never be able to repay that debt. This is why she tries so hard and puts herself in dangerous situations. It follows then that right now what she's doing is trying to do all of this alone to, I don't know, try to make amends for getting caught in the first place, to make amends for losing Peregrine, for not being as good of a Dragoon as she thinks she should be, etc., etc., etc. All of this makes sense. That she would go rogue and do this stuff. I'm like, well, now we have to find her and help her because she can't do it alone. It's just stupid.
Kind of yes, kind of no. So we break, and later on, Albrecht has found leads about her. He has found news of a band of heretics called the Bloodbearers. Mm-hmm. And their leader is a man named Mathonian.
Mathonian?
Sure. He and his minions are capable of assuming the form of dragons.
Yep.
Such a transformation is possible by partaking of dragon blood. As we know, though the sanguine substance is precious, the blood-bearers have access to an abundant supply owing to their pact with the dragon Growly, which is why they've been able to offer such fierce resistance to our forces. And this group has been sighted in the Chocobo Forest, so let's get searching.
Woo!
We and Albrecht head for Tailfeather.
Albrecht's sporting a nice deep V shirt this time. He's out of his chainmail and in a deep V tunic.
He's going incognito.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that looks good on you, dude.
We search around Tailfeather for anything suspicious, and Jen, I had a hard time with this.
I didn't, but I totally see how you could have. I got lucky. I found a little, I don't know what it is about Tailfeather in the dark. It's so much larger than you think it is. But I immediately found this, like, the small wooden structure where it turned out to be a chocobo stable. And in there, you can see a chocobo sleeping on a little bit of hay. It's very cute. And so I'm like, oh, there's a whole area back here. So I went back there, and I'm like, there's a whole area back here. And I see a dude standing off in the distance. I'm like, that's the guy.
Yeah, he is on the far western edge of the search circle, up against the cliffs that separate Tailfeather from the Nath area.
Like, so, well, before we do this, the reason why we're doing this is because Albrecht said that the residents of Tailfeather have noticed some, like, weird merchants around buying up a whole bunch of supplies. I was like, I bet that's our blood bearers in disguise replenishing their stores. So what we need to do is talk to some merchants that look shady, ask them a question, and see how they respond. Are they genuine?
And he responds with violence.
That's exactly what I wrote. I'm like, I find, like, lucky for me, the first merchant I find is quote-unquote shady merchant.
I mean,
and
if
I'm
you're
like,
finding a merchant in the far
blah, blah,
western nook of the village, kind of shady.
Just hanging out alone, that's weird. So then I ask him the question, and he's like, how about you, immediately? And I'm like, okay, here we go. So when we fight this dude, we kill him. A piece of parchment falls out of his tunic. And we take it back to Albrecht because we can't really understand what it says, but he's like, oh, no, I'm super fluent in heretic-ese. And apparently these guys have arranged for a meeting to take place just south of Tailfeather. So let's go. So we go. When we go to the south of Tailfeather. And when we get there, we find all the blood brothers, the blood bearers, they're dead. And Heustienne is there. She killed them all. She has Peregrine at this point. She has reclaimed it. And she turns and sees us. She's like, why are you here? And again, she clutches her chest in pain. And I'm like, girl, this wound that you took, again, I'm still like, this is a wound. This wound that you took is going to be the death of you. We need to get you to a chirurgeon
That is a very genuine kind of naive thought, though. Let us help you, please.
Yeah. I was like, she's still dealing with that blow to the chest.
She realizes that she should explain the deal to us before we chase her down even further.
Well, right, because Albrecht is like, oh, you found Peregrine. Now you can come back. You've done the thing you said you were going to do. All's good. Let's go back to Ishgard. And she's like, okay. I can't. As much as I would like to. I would love to. It's my only desire at this point is to return to Ishgard, but I can't. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, she was force-fed blood, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
She was.
And this, of course, shocks Albrecht. Heustienne says, if I go back to Ishgard, I will be tried as a heretic for having had this happen to me. But not only that, but my family will also be on the hook because of the way this BS works.
It's a death sentence for her and her entire family.
Yep.
And I totally understand why she would want to go back to that. And also, just table talk, I guess, is when you have that realization that something that was forced upon you that has nothing to do with like your character and your devotion to Halone or the Holy See or Ishgard, whatever, that it doesn't matter. You are now a heretic despite your value system having changed not at all, and that your family's lives are at risk, and you don't question that system. You're even more like loyal to it. That's all.
I don't know if I would.
I get it.
Oh, it's not that. I don't know if I would condemn her for being like a sheep, essentially.
No. This is just like, again, to each their own. And this happens, and people will this makes sense, but that's just me, being devil's advocate.
You're correct, Jen, but I don't know if she is the one to change it.
Heustienne is not the one. Heustienne is not the one. No.
But given her lot. She says, I've been inspired by you, the Azure Dragoon of Light, as you show us that a Dragoon needs no banners to do what is right. So she's going to be the solo rogue Dragoon, and she is going to hunt down Growly herself and end his reign of terror. So she says, take care of my family, please, and please don't come after me. I've got to do this alone. And that's that. She heads off into the wilderness, and we are left to return.
Yeah, Albrecht is like, I tried to think of something to say to her, but I couldn't. So I guess we're going back to the observatorium.
Yep. And when we get there, he does see a silver lining. Because much like the power of the eye, the dragon blood is a curse and a blessing. If she can master it, she may well have a fighting chance against Growly.
Yeah, it's interesting that he draws a parallel between, getting quote-unquote chosen by the eye and having that kind of consume a part of your being and, drinking dragon's blood. I'm like, they're very, very similar. I don't know why one is blasphemous and one isn't. Again,
we have many such double things in our own life, Jen.
Oh, I so totally get it.
I mean, it's arbitrary, totally yes, but also it's relatable.
That's why. So that's why it's also frustrating because we understand why these two things that are basically almost like functionally identical. The Holy See has drawn a very, very big line in the sand about them, and that's just the way it is.
It also may be, also being devil's advocate, it may be tied to the source of the dragon transformation power, as in this goes back to the original
correct.
sin.
This is the original sin, which the Holy See has kept secret for 1,000 years. So therefore, it's no.
Yeah.
Absolutely no. Good, because that's what we did in the olden days to be powerful and shit. So that's fine. That's quote unquote sanctioned.
It also, I think it
means
more
you're like
so,
super cool.
It sparks less questions because the eye is a tangible, separate artifact. The dragon blood affliction may spark questions that we do not want to have answered.
100%.
So anyway, that aside though.
Yep. So that's a frustrating thing to be faced with,
Fair.
As Albrecht describes it. And yes. So the latter, so he's talking about the eye versus the power of the blood. The latter actually has a little bit, maybe a lot more influence over your behavior, and it can take over your psyche. It's stronger in that regard. maybe that's the myth the Holy See wants you to think, but that's what Albrecht says. And I'm like, I can't disregard that. I can't throw any doubt that way. When he's talking about this too, when we first get back to the observatorium, Sir Albrecht remembers something that Heustienne told him a long time ago. My worth is measured by the dragons I slay. Ugh. Fully into the Kool-Aid. But so now that she's been forced to drink the blood and she's got this curse now, the inner turmoil she must be feeling, like she's turned into a heretic against her will. The thing that she's been fighting against her entire life, that she's devoted her entire life into eradicating. So, we didn't really get to know her very well, but this is rough. Like this we can feel.
Yep. We take a break for a bit, and when we go back to check in on Albrecht, he informs us that the hour of reckoning is at hand.
Growly's on the move!
According to the astrologians, more on that later, Jin. Once we unlock the hinterlands, we can do the astrologian job quest. But according to them, the creature shall soon pass near the dreaming dragon in the Western Highlands. Heustienne is no doubt tracking the dragon and will be there. We do not want any other knights or dragoons to spy her, so we're going to tell the powers that be that we got it covered. We're going to go and take care of this Growly problem, and they can chill.
This is all part of keeping her secret a secret.
Yep. And we get a bonus party member. So we head to the Convictory, our old pals, the Convictors in the Western Highlands. And when we get there, we find that Heustienne's dad has decided to join our party.
Yeah. He's going to bring his daughter home regardless. Does he know?
I believe so. I think that Albrecht told him between the quest steps.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. He's like, I don't care. I'm bringing her home. So Albrecht says that a woman matching Heustienne's description was seen in the area with a trail of dead heretics in her wake.
And that is what we find.
We must follow the quote-unquote trail of carnage.
We all split up. We have Albrecht and Dad and us all going separate ways, and we indeed find a quest clicky called Trail of Carnage.
Pile of bodies, Trail of Carnage. Ooh, footsteps going to the north. Another pile of bodies along the Trail of Carnage. So we do that a couple of times, and finally we find Heustienne and Growly facing off.
Yeah. Despite all that has happened, she welcomes our aid. She pauses for just a moment to fight through the hunger for dragon's blood, and we launch into battle.
That's when I actually realized what that was. And I don't know, so when she was like, I've been forced to eat blood, I didn't know what the clutching of the chest is like. Is she in pain? What's going on? But well, no, yes. This is her craving. Her craving for the blood. She's like fighting it so hard. And so it looks like she's got chest pains. And she vows that she will not succumb to it. She will not become a dragon's thrall. And so we fight.
And we get a proper capstone fight with mechanics. Heustienne is a great fighter here. She cannot do a single mechanic, but she has enough health to tank all the failed mechanics she does. And she holds the dragon's aggro so we can use our positionals.
Nope.
No, not for you?
Nope. No, wow. I was the target of that motherfucker the whole time.
Well, way to out DPS me, Jen. But yeah, so during the fight, she grabbed aggro for me early on, and the dragon would turn sometimes to do mechanics at me, but otherwise, though, it auto-attacked her.
Did you ever get frozen in place?
No.
What the fuck?
She did.
I was constantly getting frozen in place. I would hit my buffs and then I'm frozen.
I don't know what was different, Jen, if you had better gear than me. I still have my level 50 poetic gear on me.
Yep.
Great. Well, somehow
Same?
you pulled aggro because Heustienne, the dragon has a stacking ice debuff, just like in Snowcloak. And if you get to 3 stacks, you get frozen in place. So Heustienne would constantly get frozen by the dragon while I'm punching his butt. But no, I got to do my flanking positionals and my rear positionals and all the cool shits, Jen.
Well, that's annoying.
We fight the dragon. The 2 main mechanics are, one, it has an icicle mechanic. This, like we've seen beforehand, the icicles fall down and then they shoot out line AoEs. The other one is that the dragon will do these flyby attacks similar to the Stone Vigil final dragon fight.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it for the
Yep.
mechanics. Eventually, the icicle drops become greater in number. But one thing I noticed about Heustienne is she was like zoop dragooning all over the place to avoid those, and I'm like, yeah, girl, get after it. I was not zooping. I was just like walking slowly to an open spot. So good fight, and then after the fight, she is almost overwhelmed by the dragon's blood. She's got like the aura all around her. She's on her knees. She's trying so hard not to succumb to it, but she does overcome it.
Her dad shows up and she is alarmed. Father, why are you here? And he says he's here to bring her home. Your mother and I cannot bear to lose you again. And she explains that she cannot go back again because of the dragon blood, etc., but he says he will keep the secret safe.
Yeah, he's like, the secret, only the four of us here right now know, and nobody's gonna say anything. And I'm like, that's a nice gesture and all. I can't believe that it's not going to get leaked out by somebody, not on purpose, but that's not enough of a security. That's not enough security for me to put my life and my family's life on the line. Sorry, Albrecht.
The good news for you, Jen, because she says no.
Yeah.
She thanks him for his faith in her. However, as long as she feels the lure of dragon blood, she cannot go back home again. She will roam the land and smite our foes with their own power until she feels like she has mastered this affliction. This she swears upon her forefather's lance.
So when she's saying this, when she, Albrecht is like, this is only the four of us know, we'll keep your secret, you can come back. And she's like, no. So she takes her peregrine, she takes the lance, and she holds it in front of her like she's giving it back. And she says this stuff. And I'm like, don't give it back. Don't be like that. And she does a switcheroo. So she gives her little speech. And then instead of giving it back, she hoists it into the air. And she's like, on this, I swear. And then puts it back and walks away.
Yep, she walks away like the anti-hero she is.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the quest. One more abrupt end, but honestly, we did not need I'll miss her so much, blah, blah, blah. This is fine. This is a good ending.
Yes, please. Thank you. We don't need to be coddled.
Coddled. Emotions.
Yeah.
Sorrow. Get out of here. Unlike most of the job quests we talk about, on this one I was wishing for more stages. Usually we get one or two quest steps which are blatant filler, as the quest has to do some externally imposed quota of quest steps at each level interval.
Mm-hmm.
But on this one, it had the opposite problem in my estimation, in that we needed more time with Heustienne up front to actually feel the pain of her loss before she has the shit happen.
I know. She walks up and she's like, hi, I'm kind of number 2 boss of the Order of Dragoons, and if you could teach me some stuff, that'd be cool. And it takes you aback as a player, and as your character, it also you'd be taken aback, whoa, that's not really something I do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of busy. I don't know. I don't even know how to teach you the shit that I know, because frankly, it's the blessing of light that confounds you. So I totally agree. And in the first encounter, we see this woman who kind of doesn't listen.
Yeah.
And kind of barges ahead into a very dangerous situation, which seems not very smart. So we're questioning her judgment immediately. So yeah, it's not a great beginning. She's not an asshole, but it's not a great...
And that's that. She's gone at that point.
She leaps onto a dragon's back, and now we're just trying to find her.
That's the problem here. I think that every other step could have stood well as it is now. It's just that we missed the actual bonding stage that makes us care. I can care intellectually that this is a problem. I can see what's going on. I understand the pathos here. But I don't feel a personal loss because I don't feel a connection to the character I am supposed to care about to make the rest of it work.
I had a greater connection to Beaton.
Yeah, I know, Jen.
Yeah.
I think that it really needed maybe one more quest step where it was centered around us having some actual experience together. Make it count.
Oh, man.
Give us some good bonding moments.
Not that this is something she would do, but if we found her at the Forgotten Night, for example, and we sat down and you know, we're briefly vulnerable with one another over a flagon of ale, it would humanize her so much more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So, like, in every other quest step, we're like, oh, wow, they're really feeling this was garbage.
Yep.
Like, we could have used one more. We could have used a 58.5.
Yep. Well, a 52 and a half, yes. Yeah. But that rush intro aside, I think this is a good story, and the plot is something we have not seen in this game before, this involuntary dragon transformation. It's also a great tie-in to the dragon blood elements of the MSQ. It's the inverse of that.
They looped that in right away.
Yep. And also, it serves as a mirror to the powers of the eye. And we had that talk earlier on, Jen, about
we've got like the light side and the dark side, and like they're powerful in their distinct ways, but they're powerful like in kind of the same way.
Yeah.
The problem that you have with the eye is that it's going to start to seep its way into your psyche, into your blood, and then the blood does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Though the eye doesn't turn you physically into a dragon, but in all other meaningful ways, it does. So again, like that to me is like a fucking who cares? It's the same. But the fact that they introduced this as like the other side of that coin, I thought was great.
Yep.
Yeah. So the name of this episode is going to be like Heustienne, we have a problem.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah. So that's done.
Yeah. Easy. Any other thoughts, Jen?
No. I didn't know what to expect from this because I've never done it on any character, and it was pretty good.
Good. Next, we have some announcements.
Uh-oh.
First, we have pod return shirts.
Canceling the podcast. Yeah! We have shirts! I've been barking up the shirt tree for a long time just because I like shirts. I like things that I enjoy. I like to buy the swag. Just, it's a little bit of a dopamine hit every time I look at them. Like, there's a sticker of the thing that I like. Yay. It reminds me that I like the thing. Whatever. But yeah, we have shirts now.
They are for sale on TeePublic. You can find the link in the show notes. Jen, what do these shirts look like?
Okay. So we've got a front and a back, right?
Okay. Is there a neck?
There is a hole.
One hole.
We had this discussion already about how many holes there are in the shirt. But so Levi has done the artwork for the front and the back. The front it's all pixel art. The front is the Heavensward font, and it says the name of the podcast, Pod Return, The Waking Sands, blah. And then on the back, we have sweet, sweet Major General in full artifact Dragoon gear and a cape. That's extra. You got to
pay extra for the cape.
He did. Just looking very, very impressive on a snowy cliff. But yeah, it's great. And who doesn't like a Major General? Who doesn't like a Dragoon? Who doesn't like both of those things combined?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. That's the shirt.
Okay. Again, that link in the show notes, that is a TeePublic shirt. Next announcement, we will be wearing these shirts at PAX West. If you see someone in a pod return shirt with the aforementioned description, feel free to say hi, as that will be us. I don't think that TeePublic can physically fabricate and ship these shirts in the time between now and PAX West, so there should be minimal to none chance of there being any other shirt wearers besides ourselves.
But that would be great. That would be hilarious.
But also, if you say hello, we have some sweet pod return stickers we'll be handing out too.
With different artwork that Levi also did. And it's so cute. They're so cute. Little round stickers for your water bottle or your butt.
Or what? Yeah, for your butt.
Wrap us on your butt.
Finally, on this coming weekend, we are off, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with the MSQ. It is time to enter Nidhogg's lair, armed with our new Dragoon skills. So maybe see you this weekend. If not, then we'll be back in 2 weeks with more cool stuff.
See you then. And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And I heard that the way to a Dragoon's heart is through her torso window. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. We are also on the blue sky at podreturnffxiv. Check the show notes for our Discord info. You can hop in there and make some friends, do some chats, be a lurker, whatever is your jam. We would love to have you, and everybody is super cool. And last but not least, our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv, where for $1 a month you get access to all the other stuff that we do. That includes the seasonal events from 14, some stuff about the Magic the Gathering stuff, the tabletop RPG, our Final Fantasy XI series, Vana'diel Vansplainer, which is wrapping up here soon, and we're launching into a whole other series, so get in there. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.